This is what the side of the house looks like before we get started.
So today starts the big project of re-siding the house. Step one is to raise up the house. So basically we have a lot of water always rushing under our house, and the piers that our house is on are all twisted. That's why our floors are all jacked up and wonky. So step one is to try to level that out before we can do the siding.
I'm gonna try to push it out.
We'll have to dig out more around it.
It probably needs to go up anyways to jack it up a little more.
Sounds like the roof's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. Alright, that's good, that's good. I can't believe they just set houses on little bitty piers like that. That's crazy.
I can't believe they tried to shim it up with that little...
Some of them.
What is that, door hinge?
Yep. Crazy.
It's like, oh, that'll fix this whole house.
Probably grab the bottom of it.
Okay, so update. We were finally able to get the pier out and straighten it. Now we are, what are we doing? Moving the jacks?
Well,
Gotta get some more.
he's got to get some more extension on the jack, so we're going to put more shims in his hole where we can get back in there and jack it up some more and put another shim under the pier.
Got it. Yeah, all that. In this clip, you'll notice that the guys have already taken off some of the old siding. Of course, the old has to come off before the new can go up. So we're looking at some of the exposed outside wall, some of the boards there. We just mainly wanted to see what we were working with, see if there were any rot or any holes. And of course, later in the video, you will find that there were. You'll also see that the guys were taking down our old awning. Now, usually we were just ripping stuff off of the walls, but with this, we wanted to be careful, take it down easily, because we do want to restore the old tin awning and put it back up after the new siding is up. As you watch, you'll see them take away more of that old siding and expose more of that outside board. This took a little bit of time, but I think it went pretty well for the most part. Now you'll see that that screen door has been removed. and they're taking off the old door framing. Again, this is so we have an even layer so that we can start adding the insulation board and adding the new siding.
Look at their insulation.
I know. Just right around the door. That ain't asbestos.
Asbestos. That was definitely asbestos. Oh god.
You'll find these places that go
Me too.
Here you'll see that they prepped a board and they're placing the first rot that we found. We wanted to make sure, again, that this was all flat surface all the way across the house so that the insulation board could attach properly. Here you'll notice James fixing another piece of rot that we found. Basically, there was just metal flashing up on the side of the house, and we wondered why it was there. But once we peeled back the flashing, we saw that there was indeed a small hole in the wood, as well as under this window. So James is cutting out the rot, and then he's replacing it with good boards so that we can move forward with the project. During this part of the project, there's not much for me to do because James is the master cutter and he just cuts pieces of wood and puts them into place. However, as you can see, I am still around to hand him a hammer whenever he needs one.
Real talk, I gotta get better at holding this camera.
Huh?
It's gonna give somebody vertigo
What?
the way I'm shaking.
Oh.
Maybe just me.
No, trim in the bottom. Yeah. A little more. Lost it. All right. There we go.
There we go. Let me back up without falling.
Yeah.
Looking super good.
All there is to do is pull some more of this off and feed all the nails in and put paper on. We're done for the day.
There we go.
Put insulation board on.
It's been a lot done so far.
Oh yeah. Plus this, I mean, when you go and fix rot and stuff, that's what it just takes time.
Looks great in this camera.
I know, right?
So I'm just gonna recap now.
Yeah.
So, for recap, when we started this morning, we started on working on this corner and working on the pier we raised up the house so that we could get the floor leveled before we started siding. Because if we waited to do that after siding, it would crack what we just put up. So after that, they decided to start taking off some of the siding. And of course, they took off the awning that was above the door right here. And then they started to beat in nails, a little bit at a time. And then the biggest thing they had to do was replace a lot of rot and then like fill in a lot of holes. The reason for this was to make a even surface. Yeah, even surface so that we can put up the insulation board and not have as many bows in the siding. So, doing pretty good, babe.
Huh?
Doing pretty good.
Oh yeah. Getting it, that's for sure. Now we'll start beating the rest of the nails in because pretty much it's time for insulation board.
Sweet. There are so many nails. Trying to get like a shot of all those nails.
Do it, baby.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see them. So many. Sweet. So what we've found so far is that there were like 3 layers, right, babe? There was siding, there's this outside wall, and then there's an inside plank wall.
Yep.
That may be tongue and groove, we think?
Yeah. Pretty sure it's tongue and groove.
Sweet. Was it normal to go diagonal?
Yes.
That's normal?
Yep. For older houses, most definitely.
I like it. And that's oak.
Yes. Yep, this is oak boards.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of rot because it is like good fashion oak. There's definitely not as much as I thought there was going to be.
I thought there was going to be a lot more too. I really did.
Yeah. There was metal up here. We found out that there was one little hole. So instead of like replacing the wood, I just slapped some metal on it. Is that like a loose spot?
Yeah, loose board. Where the nails worked herself out.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely see all of that. Nice. So far, this is our pile that was taken off of the house. And then this is what will be going on the house. Where are you girls? Say hi. Chickens have been watching us all day. Telling James how to do it.
They sure are.
you say the words rise up lights really quickly, sounds like razor blades in Australia.
No way.
Rise up lights.
Rise up lights.
Rise up lights.
It don't sound like that when I say it.
No. You enunciate or something.
I do it right.
Rise up lights. No, this is not. What'd you do with it?
You lost it.
You put it in that chair with your gloves.
You're welcome. I told you I'd find it.
Yeah, okay. Get over here.
So you can do this totally different, a bunch of different ways. You can get you a handful of it, or just reach in there and get them.
Here you can see me and James finally getting to installing the insulation board. Basically what we wanted to do to start off with was make sure that it was square on the house, or as square as it could be on a house built in 1898. So we started going across the top to make sure that we could anchor the insulation board, and then later you'll see us go back through and get the bottom bits. Now, you can see that James is helping me quite a bit because these nails were very hard to get into the oak. So I would try to start them, but most of the time he ended up having to finish them off for me. You'll notice that we went straight across the door and continued to the other side. This was the easiest way to do it, and then we will go back, and you'll see in just a bit, and then we'll cut out the door once it's installed from the inside. You'll also see us trying to shimmy the insulation board up under our electrical unit box. You might have just seen that rip happen in the insulation board. Basically, the wind caught the board and it twisted it and it just kind of fell and ripped it up. But luckily, James bought this stuff called zip-it tape, which is just a thick black tape, and you'll see it in just a little bit on that seam, as well as on the seam between the two different layers that we're putting up. This creates a nice barrier and keeps water and elements out so that our wood will stay nice and not rot. By the time we got to this lower bit and putting the nails in the bottom half of the board, I struggled enough with the first half that James decided to do this hard bit for me. So I just came in clutch and held the nails and handed him as many as he needed. We worked as a great team on this part. Once we got back to the other side of the door, we were back on the top row. I decided to give my try yet again. But of course, you can see I had a few difficulties. But this was a lovely opportunity to get a nice tutorial from my love. Show me how to do it and the best way to tackle it. We slowly made our way across the top, and every now and then you'll see him bend down and check the bottom. We just wanted to make sure that, again, we stayed as square as possible. And every now and then we had to remove a nail or two just to try again. This was a fun process to work our way through. some of you may have noticed by now, but you can see that we put the insulation board a little upside down. However, there's not really such thing as an upside down when you're doing an insulation board, just as long as you get it on there and get it airtight. Unfortunately, we did not notice this fact until about we were halfway through with the second layer. However, either way, it's going to keep us nice and warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Now you can see us approaching a bit of a fun part. So we were still trying to stretch across the window, cut as we stretched it across, and then we were trying to fold it up as close to the chimney as possible. So that's why you see James grab these ladders and pull them up close to try to help hold the insulation board so we don't get another rip like we did before. So while we work, not only do we have our chickens watching, but let me see if I can zoom in. There is a flock of wild turkeys that live right in the field next to our house. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'm counting 10. They're always here. When they're not here, we have a groundhog, squirrels, and deer. And a black cat that I'm calling Biggs. Rise of lights. You know it sounds like it, don't it?
It does not.
It does. Yeah. Anything here?
Nope, shouldn't be.
So as you can see, this is what we're left with after all of the hard work in our first stage of getting to work on this siding. We've really enjoyed the journey so far, and this is officially the end of part 1 of our siding series. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed doing it.